Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Asked data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
Good afternoon, everybody. So Chris already did the brief introduction. My name is Lars, founder of Maat online, digital agency based in the Netherlands. I already saw a lot of Dutch faces today, seeing some more as well. Show of hands, Dutch. Ah, nice. Sorry for this one, but we won the best AC at the Dutch Search Awards last year. You know, yeah. But today I want to talk about BigQuery and how we could use BigQuery if you're running PPC campaigns. And to start off by show of hands, who is already using BigQuery? Don't be shy, okay. Not that much, great. The goal for today is that after the session, I hope you have a clear picture on what you can do with BigQuery and the data that you are already having from your own campaigns. You know how you can improve your campaigns with the data, and hopefully you will be as enthusiastic as I am and you start using BigQuery, obviously. So first up, what is BigQuery? BigQuery is actually a cloud-based data analysis and data storage tool from Google itself. And in this session, I will discuss like some things you could do if you are running PPC campaigns with BigQuery, and also talk about the benefits of using BigQuery. So how could you use it for your own account? First one is pretty simple. I will sum up some things that you could do with BigQuery, and I will show you whether or not it's easy or difficult. You could discuss what's easy and what's difficult, but I will explain everything that I will show you. First up is the data storage. And it's not per se for Google Ads data, but more for like GA4 and Search Console data. Because if you are working with GA4, and I think like the majority of us is working with GA4, the limit of the 40-month data is something that we have to deal with. And the same applies for Search Console. If you are working with Search Console, the data in Search Console goes back like 60 months. And as soon as you connect BigQuery to GA4 and to Search Console, the data will be stored in your BigQuery account like forever. So you don't have to worry about losing the data after 40 months or 60 months. And you could build your own tables and like reporting with the data coming out of those accounts. It's really easy to connect BigQuery to GA4. It's basically the same as connecting Google Ads to GA4. Go to the product links. Instead of clicking Google Ads links, you click on BigQuery links. And same applies for Search Console. In your Search Console account, you can connect your BigQuery account right away. Google Ads is a little bit difficult. Instead of connecting it with the Google Ads or in the Google Ads interface, you have to do it in the BigQuery interface by setting up a data transfer with your Google Ads. As soon as you pass this screen, it will all make perfectly sense with connecting your account ID. So that's like the basic thing that you can do. Just make sure that you have all your data in your BigQuery environment, just for the sake of having the data. Next up, and I'm not sure who was presenting earlier this morning, but it was someone who has been working in like specific niches. And this example is really handy for if you are working like with an AC with a specific niche. So let's say that you are running campaigns for like 30 or 40 gyms. And with BigQuery, it's really easy to connect all the data from those accounts in one place and like ran different queries and set up different campaigns to analyze what is happening in that specific niche. You know, like, hey, in this account I'm having a CPA who's 10% increasing. What is happening in the niche itself? So that's something that you can do in BigQuery really easy. So if you are working for an AC in a specific niche, this is something that I would suggest start doing. Next up is combining your Google Ads data with external data sets. So I've used 2 examples, stock data and weather data, for example. So it's really easy to upload different data sets to BigQuery. Some of them are already in place in the BigQuery environment. Other than that, you can upload your own files as well. But you can do analysis like, hey, if the weather temperature is dropping like 10 degrees, what is happening with my campaign data? And if I have, for specific products, a high stock, what is happening with my campaign data and stuff like that. So it's really easy to combine those data sets and make your own analysis based on that. And the same applies obviously for what I was saying earlier, GA4 data, Search Console data, but also Meta ads or LinkedIn ads or whatever you are using. You can all upload that data into your BigQuery environment. And especially when you are using a login interface on your website, so a user ID, you could combine all those information and make up your own attribution model, for example. This is also what I was saying earlier, make your own attribution. I think I've got a scenario in place. It's probably really basic for everybody, but I think it's really easy to go through it and just to understand the logic of it. You can change your look-back window in BigQuery because it's your own data. So, for example, with LinkedIn ads, when you set up a conversion, you have to say how many days I go back before the interaction with the ad to see whether or not this is a conversion. You could change that for yourself in your BigQuery environment. Same applies for seasonality. If you're running data analysis, but you have a product or specific products who have got to do with seasonality, you want to take that in place by doing your analysis. And if you have different products, it requires different data analysis. You know, if you have products for like 10 euros and also products for like 300 euros, it requires a different approach. So you can all do that in your own BigQuery environment. So in this scenario, we see 2 different user IDs. So this one had 5 sessions, this one had 2, and we've got 2 conversions. And obviously, and this is something that we all know in this room, if we start looking at different attributions models, we will get different results in what is generating the conversions for us. So when we are looking at last touch, it will be email and organic. When we are looking at first touch, it will be organic and direct. If we are looking at linear, obviously everything will get attributed. Same applies for position-based. And that will leave us with this. And we all know if you are working with Google Ads, especially with smart bidding, we are using the data-driven attribution model. But we also all know that Google Ads is probably over-attributing its own channel. So as soon as you have all the data from your different campaigns, so like Google Ads, Meta Ads, TikTok, you name it, in one place, you could set up your own attribution model. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Jos Eintema. He's a Dutch guy. I was talking about BigQuery with him, and he's already saying, we don't work with GA4 anymore, or with Google Ads conversion. No, what we do is we set all the things that are happening on our website, send the data directly into BigQuery, so not through GA4. We don't send a conversion to Google Ads, everything directly into BigQuery, make our own analysis, and as soon as we think, okay, this is a conversion that really needs to be attributed to Google, then we will send a conversion pixel to Google Ads. But same applies for Meta Ads or whatever. The data will be pushed from BigQuery to Google instead from Google to BigQuery. And that's something to think about. Something what's also really handy with BigQuery is the fact that it has its own BigQuery machine learning models. So there are different models you could use. There will be a QR code in one of the slides coming up. If you scan that, you will see everything that you need to know about the BigQuery machine learning things that you could do. I've got 2 examples. So what you could do with the data coming into BigQuery is like an obvious one. Use the predict values function in BigQuery machine learning to let the system tell you what the sales figures, for example, will be in the coming weeks or months. And you can also use like a forecasting function in BigQuery machine learning, for example, to predict a CPA. which is already based on the data coming into BigQuery. So if you're curious to know more about the BigQuery machine learnings, check this link or the QR code. I'll wait one moment. Last thing that I wanted to show you was the fact that you could connect your CRM system to BigQuery as well. And as soon as you have your CRM system connected to BigQuery, it will be connected with all the ads in your BigQuery environment as well. Sorry, with all the ads data in the BigQuery environment. So you could calculate your customer lifetime value, but not only based on Google Ads data, no, based on all the data that you have in place. And what's really nice is based on that data and your own attribution that you've done, you could push back the information into Google Ads. So you could make like your own audiences, for example. So you could make like an audience with the highest customer lifetime value based on your own data. And in order to do that, it's really nice to use a Python script because you want to automate this process. So in BigQuery, you are running your own analysis with so-called SQL, structured query language, and you can make your own reporting based on that data. We use Watergraph for that, so we send the data coming out of BigQuery into Watergraph to make our own reporting dashboard. But with a Python script, in BigQuery you have the data, and you can use a Python script where you can send that data to different APIs you have to enable in the Google Cloud environment, such as the BigQuery API and the Google Ads API. And Python, the script, will send the information back into Google Ads. I'm not sure, by raise of hands, who in here is working with an MCC account? Quite a lot. Okay. In order to do this, you need to have an MCC account because you need to have a developer token. And in your MCC account, you can access your developer token here. If you don't have a developer token yet, you can request one here. It will take a couple of days. But as soon as you have them, you could enable the Google Ads API with the BigQuery API through a Python script to make those audiences and send them to your Google Ads account. So when I was thinking about this topic for this talk, I talked with a lot of PPC people, and I was wondering, hey, you are not using BigQuery at the moment. Why is that? So a lot of people were actually telling me, yeah, I need to know SQL in order to know how to work with BigQuery. And I have to actually say that it's kind of true, because if you have all the data in place and you want to make some analysis, you need to know SQL. And I've got one colleague at the office who's like SQL miracle. He knows everything on the top of his head. But nowadays it's really easy to get the SQL knowledge yourself. You know, so this is like an example how the code could look like, SQL code. So yeah, really difficult. But you've got this website called GA4 SQL, where basically the only thing you have to do is fill in your table name, fill in the date range, and fill in the metrics and dimensions that you are working with. And then the system comes up with the SQL query that you could just copy paste into your BigQuery environment. Be aware, this is only for GA4 data. But of course, there's this thing called ChatGPT, which we all know. And there are custom GPTs where you could just basically come up with your SQL code. And I want to highlight one example. It's from a Dutch guy called Rick Dronkes. I'm not sure if you know him, but he's really high level on data processing. And this is something he launched last week. It's on GitHub, so the link will go to his GitHub. But it's like a document where he explains how you could use the information that you want to gather, connect it to a large language model to come up with the best SQL query, which you then could use in your BigQuery environment. Because the thing is, if you're not using the right SQL query, it could cost you a lot of money. I get back to that later. Another thing that a lot of PPC people were telling me was, why would I use BigQuery if I can make my reports and tables in the interface as well? Again, it's partly true, but also not that much, because I think you really have to use all the data that you have available. So if you are working in the Google Ads interface, of course, you can make your own reporting in the Google Ads interface, but that's based on the Google Ads data. And in BigQuery, when you have connected all the data possibilities that you have a lot more data to work with, And because it's from different data sets, the reporting tables will look different as well. Also, and that's something that I mentioned before, the data history is something which, in my opinion, is pretty important. As mentioned, the 40 months in GA4, the 60 months in Search Console. In BigQuery, that's not the case. So, talking about the cost. Some people may think that this is like pretty expensive. It is actually not that expensive. You have to pay for the storage, which is like peanuts. You can use like terabytes for low prices. So that's not a problem. The thing is, when you are working with the SQL queries, with each query that you are giving the system will start processing the data. And the more data that needs to be processed, the more expensive your query will be. So you really need to be aware of the fact that the query that you are giving the system is like an optimized query. And instead of saying, okay, I want this information out all of the data that is available, you may want to select, okay, I want this information. You could get it from this data set. It's in this place. You know, like that will make the process easier for BigQuery to run, and therefore you don't have to pay that much. So to summarize, if you want to start with using BigQuery, I think this is pretty like maybe the most important sheet of my talk. I think you should do it even if you're not using it for queries. Just start using it for the data storage, just because of the fact you have the raw data and the data is yours. It's in the BigQuery environment. And you have it longer than the 14 or 16 months. Combine it with the external data sets and of course the data from other channels that you are using. Connect your CRM system, use the machine learning, and make your own attribution. That's what I think that we as a PPC people should do with BigQuery. Last tip, as soon as you start working with BigQuery and you set up your environment, you get the so-called sandbox environment, which is free and it won't change unless you give the system your credit card credentials. But if you are sticking to the sandbox environment, after 60 days, the data will be deleted. So you have data for the last 60 days going forward. So I really would suggest to just connect your credit card. I know it can be tricky, it may be exciting, but it will make sure that your data will be longer in place than just the 60 days. And that's basically it for today. Thank you very much.